Okay, everyone. Well, welcome to the Close webinar, the second in our series on converting seller leads and cash offers. My name is Trevor James. I work for the Close as a staff writer and coach. I'll be hosting this webinar today alongside Barry Jenkins, who's an expert, a team lead, and I'll kind of let Barry introduce himself. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so excited to be here, excited to be working with the Close and Zbuyer. I run a team in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I've got about 80 agents on my team, and been using Zbuyer for, I don't know, since 2015. And I'm also the head realtor in residence at Ylopo. Also, part of that adventure, I published a best-selling book called Too Nice for Sales, and it's all about lead conversion, and I have a section dedicated to helping nice people talk to homeowners and helping them sell their home. So my hope today is just to kind of dive deep in not only getting the lead on the phone, but also how to transition the call into a face-to-face appointment, resulting in a successful listing. So definitely excited to dive deep on it.
Well, I am pretty excited to kind of help all the agents on the call talk about exactly how to tailor their approach and actually help guide their clients through the selling process, not just grab the lead and hope for the best.
Right.
That seems to be how it goes. As someone who's been, nurturing seller leads for years and years, is there a way that you can kind of open that conversation with them to be able to break down that door and start establishing a relationship?
The first thing that you have to do as an agent is obsess about what the consumer is expecting. What is it that they think they're getting? And you really need to start there. And so with Zbuyer specifically, you're dealing with someone that responded to a cash offer advertisement. And so using that fact as the springboard for the initial part of the conversation is key. You've got about 15 seconds to gain their trust. Are you a telemarketer? Are you a spammer? Are you a scammer? And so we always like to open up by saying who we are, who we're with, who we're trying to reach, and why. So in this case, it would be, hey, this is Barry with Better Homes and Gardens. I'm attempting to reach John. Looks like he was asking for some cash offers on his home. And when we make the statement at the end of that opener, because that only took me, that's like a 1.5 sentences, about 8 seconds. And when I make the statement, looks like he created or looks like he requested info on a cash offer on his home, then I'm just quiet, right? And socially, I'm like compelling the person on the other end of the phone to respond. And this is subtly different than asking the person, did you request a cash offer on your home? I'm making a statement, but by going up in pitch, I'm making it come across as a question. You really want to be subtle here. This is likely the largest investment the person owns. And selling your home and moving is incredibly stressful. So using phrases like looks like or possibly, making statements and going up in pitch, it's very suggestive and almost indirect in your linguistic style. And this puts the person at ease. What a lot of agents do is they're just excited. They got a lead. They spent a lot of money for the lead, not a lot of money, Jordan. I'm not saying they're expensive. I'm just saying, generally speaking, it's a monthly investment. And
it's not free.
There you go. Yeah. And they got him on the phone, and your excitement comes across as anxiousness, and they're already anxious. And so really you have to have a very calm and soothing vibe when you're doing this. And so that's why, going back to your original question, opening the conversation in a way that says very clearly right out of the gate who I am, who I'm with, who I'm trying to reach, and why. It just tends to decrease the hang-up rate, which is obviously very important when trying to work these leads. A lot of times agents say, hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. Is this John? That comes across a lot differently than, hey, this is Barry with Better Homes and Gardens. I'm attempting to reach John. Looks like you created or requested a cash offer on his home. You really want to represent someone that is not selling anything, because they're going to have an aversion to that.
So what happens when you ask that question and you get a potential client and they're immediately guarded?
If they give any type of resistance or objection, this is very, very important. Rather than feeling like I need to overcome or challenge it, I really want to take on the disposition of a passionate and curious teacher. And so when they give any type of objection, I'm going to celebrate it. Sounds like you're still trying to figure things out and you're taking the process really seriously. I think that's fantastic. This is likely one of the largest financial transactions of your life, and you want to take your time and make sure you're making the right decision. So that sounds a lot better than I hear you, right? Like
Right.
just saying I hear you really want to take a moment and actually affirm and applaud their whatever their excuse or objection is. And then I just want you, instead of being pushed away by it, I want you to like have that disposition of a curious and passionate teacher. How did you decide you're not ready yet? That's what I want my agents to ask. How or what questions? I really want them to seek to understand the consumer. Another great objection handler is tell me more about that. How did you decide? Right? Because you can't motivate someone unless you know what they're motivated by. There's a significant chance that the person's under some kind of duress or stress,
Right.
and they're not necessarily going to want to lead with that. Like, yeah, I'm broke and I'm filing bankruptcy, so I'm thinking about just dumping off my home. We're going to get there eventually, but that's not in the first 5 minutes. Like we need to make them feel like we've heard, they've been heard. So to answer your question, outside of the one scenario where they're just transactional, for the rest of the people, I really want to applaud their objection and press into it. So I don't like overcoming objections. I like understanding objections. That's kind of the vibe that we run with on our team.
So I think cash offer leads are something that a lot of agents, myself included, kind of see it as like you're driving down I-70 in the middle of Kansas and you see a giant, road sign, buy home for cash now,
Yeah.
call, and that's kind of what we're all imagining. So can you kind of talk more about that and how that transition has kind of taken place as we've moved more into digital?
For me, digital marketing provides me with fantastic ROI and the ability to kind of control it all from my computer. And I just, you know, it allows me to unplug, to be honest with you. Digital marketing allows me to have moments where I shut it all off. When I was in the market as an agent and I didn't have digital marketing, I'm always on. It doesn't matter if I'm
Right.
at a kids event or a dinner party, I'm always looking for an opportunity to talk about real estate. And with digital marketing, I don't have to do that because I'm paying money for the privilege of talking to other humans about something that they're interested in. And I just think it's fantastic.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, to a lot of my coaching clients, I say, like, you know, when you have digital marketing in place, those clients are coming in even when you're sleeping,
Yeah.
and whenever because people are browsing for homes late at night in their bed, it's midnight, whatever, they're about to go to sleep, they open up Redfin or Realtor.com, whatever it might be, some kind of ILS that they're looking at listings. And
Yeah.
a lot of agents also have an issue with that cost and that ROI and being able to see these leads through. So can you kind of talk about that growth in ROI that you've seen in your business since implementing some of these systems?
Yeah, look, 98% of the time I fail on the leads and I have a 400% ROI. I tell my agents on average, I really watch our numbers, right? I really like really closely. And on average, my agents make about 100 outbound contacts a week. Some of them more,
Okay.
some of them less. Out of the 100 outbound contacts a week, it's a blend of text and call. About 80 of them don't respond.
Hmm.
And the 20 that do, 18 of those 20 either say no thank you, wrong number, leave me alone, what have you. But out of the 20 that they talk to, they typically find about two of the 20 that they talk to where they disposition them hot, warm, and cold.
Hmm.
Right? They've had a conversation. We've got the right contact info, and the person is looking at possibly moving in the future. And so this is week after week. So they make 100 outbound contacts a week. They find two people a week out of those 100. They keep eight. And then we take the disposition that when we find someone that has an intent to move, We don't ever say things like, well, we'll stay in contact, I'll send you some email. Our standard operating procedure is to set a face-to-face appointment. Now, with these seller leads, it really depends on the circumstance. If the person is under duress and wants to move quickly, we actually have been using Zbuyer. So we put their info in,
Mm-hmm.
we get those cash offers. And what we do is we just say, we've got an institutional investor, got to answer some questions, and we can start getting you some cash offers. All right, answer the questions. While we wait for the cash offers to come in, I need to schedule a walkthrough of your property. I'm available this evening or tomorrow morning. Do either of those times work for you? So we obsessively meet face to face. If the seller is not under duress and says, I don't really have to sell, I just was interested in what my home was worth, what we do is we set with that particular seller one of two appointments. The one that works the best with someone that's not under duress is we say, okay, you don't want to sell for 6 to 12 months from now. I'm so glad I'm speaking to you right now. We celebrate their lack of readiness. Because you're so far out, you're talking to me at the perfect time. What I do with my clients with your timeline is we set up a 15-minute walkthrough. I'm going to look at your house like a buyer, and I'm going to review the condition of the home. You probably think you need to fix, I'm just going to pick a random number, 10 things. Maybe it's your cabinets, maybe it's your fence. I'm going to walk through, and my goal is to reduce the list of repairs from 10 to 3. And I'm just making these numbers up, Mr. Seller, but I'm trying to help you to see you're going to fix everything. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get a return on investment by doing all the things that you know is wrong with the home. There's some things you're going to try to fix that A, don't have to be fixed, and B, you're not going to get money from. I can't do this when you're ready to sell. And so that gets us in a lot of homes because this makes sense. We've created a new need to meet with the client. And while we're there, of course, we have a CMA. And after we've walked the home, we're like, hey, well, while I'm here, do you want to sit down? I can go over the numbers, right? And if it's someone under duress and we get those cash offers, we set up a time to meet just to take pictures and walk the property. And if they do want to sell cash offers, we say, look, we can get you those cash offers. They're going to start coming in, but they're probably going to get you 60 cents on the dollar. Just letting you know. So if your home is worth 300,000, if your home is, you're going to get like 180, $200,000 offers all day long. I think with more visibility, I could probably get you more offers and more interest in your property. And I think you could net insert blank $40,000 more, $30,000 more. And we can list it as is, so you don't have to fix it. That's how we listed one last night. That's exactly what we did because my agents are obsessed with meeting clients face to face that are in the middle of the funnel, top of funnel. They're not ready. And see, the consumer, they think you guys are DoorDash. The consumer thinks when it's time to stick a sign in the yard, when they're ready to put an order in for a sign, well, they think when it's time to have a door open and they press a button to have a door open, that's when they think you're relevant. Because you guys are so afraid of bothering people, you've almost become worthless because you pride yourself on not being pushy and you've accidentally become of no value in that moment. And so what I want to kind of call to, and this is what I talk about in my book in Too Nice for Sales, is having so much compassion for these people that you're willing to have an awkward 3 to 4 minute conversation where they say they're not interested. And you say, tell me more about that. How did you decide you're not interested? Right? Like you press into it coming from compassion. And these people respond so favorably to this.
How do you secure a listing agreement for a cash offer? Many of those owners are not looking to list it on the market due to maybe divorce or neighbors, things like that. And so do you show up to every listing appointment with a cash offer from Zbuyer or something like that just to show them an easy exit option right away?
Yeah, we try not to have the cash offers on us. We try to set the appointment before they've come in. Some of them come in really fast. And actually, I've found the opposite to be true, that many of the owners are looking to list because when they realize that for the sake of privacy, which is selling it privately, it's going to cost them $40,000 to $50,000. They're like, you know what? I'd rather do it privately, but for 50 grand, okay, let's go ahead and get the neighbors talking, right? So that's what we've found. Every market's a little bit different. I think the key here is it's kind of like those old choose your own adventure books. What you want to do here is you want to like present door A, door B, door C. Door A, I can get you that cash offer, and you can sell it off market. I think your net's going to be about $50,000 less than if you put it in door B, which is the MLS. And we can put it in the MLS, and we can put as is, so you're not going to do any repairs, and you'll make a little bit more. There's not a right answer here, Mr. Seller. It's really what you want. I think we could probably still do a quick close if we listed in the MLS, but like in anything, the more eyeballs, the more visibility, the more interest, the more money I'm able to get you. And the cool thing about this happens to be one of those scenarios where you're giving them fantastic advice and it happens to be better for your business. So
Right.
like huge win here, right? Like you're doing the right thing and you're making more money. Like that's a huge win.
Have you transitioned into doing any kind of like a menu to homeowners saying like for 5% we'll do this, for 6% we'll do this?
You ever you have friends that get a scratch and dent washer and dryer and they just have to tell everybody they got a scratch and dent washer and dryer? There's something about getting a deal. And so what we do when we have a seller that asks for a discount, what we recommend is we tell the client something like, are you or any family members or close friends a first responder, a teacher, or in the military? I'm sure they know somebody. Oh, you are? Okay, great. I'm going to be able to get you a small discount. I'll get the information later. I'm not going to give them the discount up front. I'm not going to tell them what it is so they can shop it. I'll get it for you. Our commission's 6%, but I'm going to get you a discount. When's the time for me to be able to come back over with the documentation, and I'll be able to go over the discount with you then? The discount, 0.25%, something like that. Like if you were to go on our website, we have all these programs where people can kind of slot themselves into different scenarios, and it doesn't have any details on what the scenario is. The reason why I did that is I found that agents were pretty consistently giving up commission here and there, but they weren't branding it. They were just doing it secretly. And I really wanted them to make the client feel special so that they could then go to their friends and family, like the scratch and dent, and say, oh, you know, this is great. And 0.25% is normally not that much. The average sales price in my market is $300,000. And so it really, you're working it out. We don't lead with that. We actually don't even advertise it. We only bring it up when someone's asking for money.
We've just got a couple of minutes left here, but I do want to highlight something that I heard from you as well as on our last lead nurturing webinar, which was being able to write out these SOPs, these standard operating procedures for you, your team, and your agents, and how important that is. So can you talk to that and what that looks like for your team?
Yeah, look, when you're nervous, you use your instincts. Fight or flight is what we call it. And when you or your salespeople, so if you're an individual agent or you have a team, the salespeople in the organization, when they get nervous, they do things the way they always do things. You need to give them a clear roadmap of how to handle these conversations and what to go for. And on my team, we've elected to use the principles from my book, and we've created a standard operating procedure where we are emphasizing, celebrating the objection, the reason that they need to meet with us. And so we're setting buyer and seller consults in ways that I've never in the last 30 days, we set 558 appointments and never had that type of volume. And it's because we're obsessed with talking to people that aren't ready and don't think they need us, because we're we're filling in the blanks. We're helping them, right? We're not waiting for them to figure it out on their own. We're like, oh, you're not ready. Oh, I'm so glad. When can we meet? Right. And it works really well. The best advice I can give everybody is to, I think that agents that are going to make a lot of money with leads over the next 3 to 5 years are the ones that learn how to master leads conversations that start with things like, I'm not ready yet. Zillow and realtor.com have mastered the bottom of funnel. Like they got that. They haven't figured out how to convert the middle of funnel. And so I see a massive opportunity for us to convert leads like Zbuyer that don't know exactly what they want yet. And some agents call those tire kickers. I call those cash cows because nobody else is going after them. So you really have to zig when others zag. And there's an opportunity here. You just have to learn how to master it. So that would be my advice.
Thank you for your time today, Barry. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be checking out your book and, recommended it to everybody. This is great. And if I'm ever in Virginia, I'll give you a holler.
No, I'd love to connect, Trevor. Thanks for your time.